Hi guys, I'm here at my studio today because a question that I get asked a lot is how do I photograph my products? So I have some to photograph and I thought that I would show you how I do it. It's pretty easy. The only difference for what I'm doing today is that normally I would use my camera to photograph them, but actually my camera is recording me right now and will record this. So I'm going to use my phone, but actually you can get great results doing this with your phone as well. So if you have smallish products, then this is how I photograph them. Okay, so I can see that the hardest part of doing this is actually going to be not standing in the way of the camera to show you guys what I'm doing. So to start with, I thought I'd show you, this is the light box that I have. It's one that folds down. It's just made from like flimsy kind of acrylic. Inside there's this soft sheet that, if you can see here, it goes all the way up so that you get this nice bend in the middle. You can actually make like DIY light boxes, and there's heaps of tutorials on eBay about how to do this. I used to have one years ago that I had made myself, but that nice bend and it being nice and bright is the thing. I got this off eBay. It really didn't cost much. Gosh, I think it was like, I don't know, $20 or something. I would like to get a better one down the track, but at the moment this is doing the job quite nicely. If you look in the top here, you can see that it also has these LED lights, which is why it's lovely and bright in here. And that simply works by a USB cable that is connected to my computer here. So that is pretty much, that's the setup. Inside I use all kinds of different props. For me, I really like to use something that looks natural. It's just part of, you know, nature is what inspires me. Literally, it's what the things that I make come out of, if you like. It's what inspires that whole process. So I like to photograph my objects with things that are natural. This beautiful rock. It's actually, I think it was my dad had found this years and years ago. So it's kind of something that's a bit special to my family. It's in the shape of Australia. It's pretty cool, yeah? And the back of it is awesome with this kind of chunky, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool rock. Are you one of those people that every time you went for a walk as a kid, you came home with like rocks and pebbles just like piling out of your pockets? Because yeah, that was definitely me. So I really do like to use this one a lot. It's got this lovely flat texture, of course, which makes it nice to sit things against. Sometimes I also like to use, and I'm going to experiment a little bit today because I'm not sure, but I like to use some leaves or flowers, again, just to kind of set the scene, if you like. So I'm not sure if I will use that. Maybe that's going to be overkill, but it's also fun to play with this kind of stuff. Okay, let's do this. What I'm photographing today are these pendants. If we can get them to focus. There we are. This is brand new. This came out of a mistake where, unfortunately by accident, this design was actually printed on white acrylic. But I've turned it into something. So each necklace, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, in that you can choose what goes on the back. So I am wanting to photograph both the front of the necklace as well as the options for the back. So yeah, I think that looks okay. I wonder if just maybe a few gum leaves here and there maybe might just add something. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cute. And then I might just move him right to the side a little. So at this point, obviously, the composition, how it looks, this is totally up to you and your creativity. I like to try and, if I can, sort of use it to kind of like tell the story a little bit more. So on my phone, I'm actually using an app called Camera FV5 Lite. It just gives you a little bit more option over the controls. I'll show you what I do. I'm hoping you can see this okay. And then obviously I need to photograph this. So I have this set to manual focus, which is the MF down here. So to focus in and out, I just hold and drag. So I want to get it in nice and close. Now one thing to be aware of is later on in post, when you are cropping it, you don't want things sort of appearing on the edges. So I'm going to move this over this way, set him up again, because what I don't want are these leaves, something that I end up having to kind of, you know, chop off. All right, so I can see that that's nicely in now, and in post I will be able to extend the white background. Guys, I'll show you all of this, so don't worry if you're getting a bit lost, it's all good. All right, so I am focusing in until I think that that is nicely focused. There's all kinds of options in here. Again, there's heaps of tutorials on how to use the Camera FV5 Lite app on YouTube. Yeah, so I won't go into detail now. One thing I'm going to do is I can touch here to choose how it's going to expose the light. I can also adjust it here. Alright, so I think that looks good, and I'm going to take the photo. Nice. You'll notice that I've gotten on the same plane, the same level as the product. That's how I like to photograph it. You could do different things. You might also want to sort of get in close and show some different angles. Yeah, totally up to you again and your creativity. So I've imported my photos. Obviously these are not the ones that we just took, or that you saw that I had just taken. I'm actually filming this much later. Unfortunately the footage I took on recording with OBS Studio of my desktop is completely stuffed up. So, so I've taken another photo and I'm now going to show you basically how I edit this. I use Photoshop. There are many options that you can use to quickly edit your photos. I'm just very familiar with Photoshop, and what this is not going to be is a tutorial on how to use Photoshop, but if you would like to learn how to use Photoshop or any other kind of software, honestly just Google it, find some YouTube videos. There's so many tutorials out there. Yeah, but I'll just show you how I quickly edit these. So I'm going to drag one of the photos into Photoshop so it opens up. So you can see the edges of our light box here, and obviously we'll want to get rid of those. Normally when I edit my photos, because they go on Instagram as well, I save them to square. That way they're all exactly the same dimensions. But in case you're not going to, I will quickly show you how you can get rid of this without having to crop it out. So we can actually use our any selection tool you like, really. I'm going to use the polygonal, I don't know, how do you say that? Anyway, the lasso tool, and I'm just going to draw a box around that. So the shortcut is Shift F5, and that will bring you into Content Aware Fill, and you can press OK, and it magically disappears, which is great. Control D will unselect your selection. But yeah, I would normally just crop it to square, so I'll do that now. So I'm using the crop tool. I have set it to square dimensions, and I'm just going to bring these handles in until I'm happy with the crop. doesn't need to be perfect, and I do like to leave some white space around the product as well. And that's it. So the next step is we're wanting to make sure that this background here is nice and white, and also of course that our product is properly lit and accurate. So I'm going to add down here a levels adjustment. Now we've got 3 little droppers here. This one is so that you can make the whites white. Basically you're telling Photoshop what should be white. So click on that, and it's as simple as finding a dark area. It might be a corner, it might be the shadows, depending on how light you want to make this, and just clicking, and it makes that background nice and light. Now you can click a few times if you feel it's missed somewhere, doesn't matter, but you can see that's now a nice white background. Now this is still a little bit dark, so I'm going to use my midpoint slider here just to bring that up a little to where it is, to make sure it's accurate to the actual product. Bring the blacks back in, because we've lost a little bit of those, and that looks good to me. That looks nice and accurate. Now if sometimes with phone photography you might have lost a bit of colour, so if that's the case, well, there's many ways you can bring that back, but a faster way, if you're on a timeline, is to just use your vibrance slider, bring that back in. The major difference between vibrance and saturation is that saturation will bring all colours, including yellow, back, and you can see in a way that's actually making it too yellow. Especially when you're dealing with portraits, you don't want to use saturation because everyone will end up lit with yellow faces. Definitely don't want that. Vibrance doesn't really use as much yellow, so it's a much more subtler, and it just brings back the right colour, basically. I don't know how to describe that better. So for me, that's good enough. And so I would now save this. So File, Export. I like to make sure that the files are small enough. I use PNGs, doesn't need to be transparent. Let's make these 1200 for my website. Export. We'll just call it pendant for now. And that's it. So that is how I quickly photograph products and edit them in Photoshop, ready for my website and also for use on Instagram. I hope that's been helpful to you. Please do let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and also do let me know if this was useful, because I'd love to be able to film some more of these for you. Let me know if there's something actually that you would like to know about, or any questions that you have, any future videos that you would like to see. Yeah, and thank you so much for watching this far. See you later.